Today we celebrate the beheading of John the Baptist. Aside from Joseph and Mary, those who have multiple celebrations, the other person that we have in the church's calendar is John the Baptist. Just June, we celebrated his birth, and now August, we celebrate his death. Now, of all the prophets, remember Jesus said, John is the greatest. What are the qualities that have made this very particular saint a greater saint? Yes, we know he is the forerunner of Jesus Christ. He prepared the way for Jesus and talked more about the Jesus that was to come. He lived the life of austerity by living in the forest. He fed on milk and honey. He just did things that are very, very abstract to the minds of people. But one of the things that you have to understand about John the Baptist, he was convinced of standing out for something, for the truth. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter your positions. Like we always say, truth is bitter. And many of us, to a greater extent, notwithstanding our positions, whether in places of power, authority, religious, workplace, and all that, it is discovered that at certain points in our life, we compromise. Why? Either we don't want to lose friends, we don't want to lose people around us, or want to continue to benefit from something that is very ill-gotten, possibly to get assistance or support or whatever. And sometimes because we don't want to offend anybody, or most times we just want to avoid trouble. And because of this compromise has created the problems that all of us are suffering today. They said evil will continue to thrive. Why? Because good people keep quiet. That notwithstanding, he is also a prophet that baptized Jesus. And you remember his word. He said that I will decrease and he will increase. In all this about John the Baptist, the intrinsic story about the gospel that we just heard could be seen as the foolishness of human thinking. A human thinking that is disconnected from God will always get to the level of pleasing people and offending God. And that we could see in the life of Herod. Today, because John spoke the truth of a life of iniquity, of an adulterous life, of a wayward life, of an immoral life, John was seen as a bad person and was placed in the prison. Why? For speaking out and for saying what is right. Today, a lot of us are in prison of conscience. Today, so many of us are in prison of suppression and neglect. So many are in prison of rejection of all kinds. Why? Because you are standing to make sure that things go right in the place where you walk, even in the church community and the positions of authority. There are a lot of good people who are just alone, suffering from the pressure of the general number who have decided to suppress you. They may hate you in your place of work. They may hate you even in the church. They may hate you even for standing out to do what you're supposed to do. Please, don't let nobody take away your Jesus from you. Always be convinced that the same God that you have is the God that will vindicate you at the end. Remember, the Bible tells us, one with God is always in the majority. And it is important, let us look at the scenario. The scenario of the fact that Herod decided to make a promise. He made an oath. And that is another sensitive area. Be mindful of what you promise. Be mindful of your pledges. There are so many people who have made pledges today to communities, to churches, and they have failed to redeem those pledges. Why? Because they find everybody making pledges and they say they want to also make pledge. Today they are still owing. Some of them dead already. They couldn't pay and they're dead. Be mindful of opening your mouth to say certain things when you are excited or when you are angry. And there are two things I always tell people. Just be very, very careful of your emotions. When you are too happy, say nothing. When you are too angry, say nothing. Try as much as possible to think before you speak, because it may help you. And I think that as parents, we should please be very, very careful of the kind of advice we give to our children. Because most times today, so many children have erred. So many children are going extreme. Some of these children were very innocent until we start telling them, you see, avoid this uncle, avoid this man. They are wicked. They are not the same family, but we've already started indoctrinating these children to hate your fellow brothers and sisters. If you have problems with your sisters and brothers, don't bring those children in. Try to resolve. Those children can even be a source of bringing peace to their home. So many cousins cannot move with each other today. So many families are scattered today because of wrong advice from we parents. And that is why it is important, as you see Herodias advising this child to request for the head of John the Baptist. And children, being innocent as they are, had to make reference, thinking that she was talking to the right person as a mother. She trusted and confided in the mother. What would this child be doing with the head of John the Baptist? But it is also an advice for all of us as children. Let us hear it and hear it again. In as much as we are giving certain advice, we should use our discretion. You cannot be told as a child, go and put your hand in the fire, and you put your hand in the fire and say the fire is sweet. Of course, you know the fire will burn you. Because sometimes we can say, oh, the congregation, they couldn't do nothing. What if Herod was asked to say, I need your own head? Will Herod have got his own head? Of course, no. So the idea to say, well, he doesn't want people, he doesn't want to fail his congregation, he wants to make everybody happy. And many of us are in that problem now. Because we want people to like us. We want people to be happy with us. Of what are you gaining? That people like you and you are in trouble. So many people are not free today because they feel they don't want to offend somebody. They feel they don't want to lose friendship. They feel that if they lose their friends, something will go wrong in their lives. A lot of people are suffering in their relationship today as I speak. So many are imprisoned in their marriages as I speak. So many are living fake lives as I speak. Why? Because they just want everybody to think that all is okay. All is not okay as long as you sabotage and suppress the truth. The truth cannot be hidden. And that is why it is good, even if the world will hate you and you know that what you are speaking and standing for is the truth. I am telling you, sister, brother, you will feel lighter than when you think everybody is on your side and you're dying in silence. A lot of people are dying in silence today. Fake relationships, fake marriages, fake prophecies, fake men of God and women of God everywhere. But under, they are compromising because of what? What they benefit. Most people are in relationship not because of love, but because of what they will get. So they don't care. So they don't even damn it. So whatever lies that could go on is allowed. But anytime you begin to say the truth, the world will hate you. There are people who don't want to see you today because even if conversation is going on and they cite you, they will change topic because they know that if you hear that, you will criticize it. There is nothing wrong with criticism, and I want us to get that right. But if criticism must go on, let it be constructive criticism. Let it be criticism that will help each other and not the criticism that will frustrate each other. And you could see like Herodias. There are a lot of people who have license in gossiping, and many of us are in this category. The only thing we are used to is to look for faults. The only thing that we are used to is to look for one problem to begin and one problem to spread. In fact, when things are going nice, we are sick. We must want to gather to gossip. And I want to congratulate and also remind those of us who find ourselves in this category. You are sick and you need help. All you need is just run to God to hold your mouth a little, at least, if not for anything, at least for 5 minutes, so that you can see the value of appreciating people. You can see the value of making effort to turn out that thing that has always made your mouth to say the wrong thing, to begin to say the right thing. Try to mind your business. There are many of us who don't want to mind our business at all. We are more interested in other people's business that we forget our own business. Everybody is bad except you. And I have a problem with that. If everybody is bad and you are the only good person, then something is also wrong. It means that your goodness cannot change even one bad person. Then I think you also need help. It is high time we started to begin to think of the right things to do. A lot of compromise is going on in our churches today, in our politics today, because many of us have refused to do what is right. We are either trying to please A, please XYZ, and at the end, we mash up everything. John the Baptist's head was cut off, but it did not stop the world from knowing that Herodias and Herod are committing adultery. John the Baptist's head was cut. It even increased the awareness of the wrong things that were going on. And that is why it is important to note, you can never suppress the truth. You can never frustrate anything that is positive. What is truth and can never be hidden. It doesn't matter how long and how many years you have taken. That's why sometimes some people hide in certain things in their youth, and all of a sudden, very soon, that thing begins to reveal, and everybody begins to wonder what is actually going on. Today, like John the Baptist, we should learn to persevere. We should never give up in standing for the truth and what is right and just. We should learn to remain hopeful in God. We should also be convinced that even in the prison, even if we are locked up in the prison, even when they tie our mouth, and even when they will cut off our head, we are confident that they may cut the physical head, but the spiritual head cannot be cut off from the gate of heaven. Let us go back to the memory lane and ask ourselves one basic truth and question. Who am I as a child of God? Am I a sincere child of God? Or am I an attendant child of God? Because we have the child of God of attendance and the child of God of commitment. The child of God of attendance are those who come to church, receive blessed sacrament, do everything, pray the rosary, do everything, but in their hearts they are far away from God. They tell lies. They frustrate people, they wrong people, they misunderstand people. Everything they have is all about bad things. They have never thought of good for their brothers and sisters. And a committed child of God is one whom the world keeps persecuting. But even in this persecution, he or she does not budge. He keeps on focusing on the Creator. Let us look always onto the cross of Jesus Christ crucified. And let us always remind ourselves, as we always hear, only but say the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Amen.